your algebra lesson called Integer Problems. You'll never guess what your goal for this lesson is. The same thing our goal has been for the last several lessons. We're practicing using VEST to solve word problems. Now you'll notice the name of your lesson was called Integer Problems. Do you remember what an integer is? Okay. Excuse me. Integers are whole numbers and their opposites. Okay, whole numbers and their opposites. 0 doesn't have an opposite. Okay, so it's positive numbers, negative numbers, and 0. This is what integers are. Notice there's no fractions or decimals. Okay? All right. Let's look at our example. Find 3 consecutive integers such that the smallest integer increased by 7 is equal to half the largest integer. Okay, first I have to define my variables. What is x? Let's look at that again. Find 3 consecutive integers such that the smallest integer increased by 7 is equal to half of the largest integer. Okay? What does consecutive mean? Consecutive means they have to be in a row. Okay? So how do I get, if x is my first integer, what is my second integer? How do I get from this number to that number? What do I do to this number? I have to add 1, right? So x plus 1 is going to equal my second consecutive integer. Now how do I get to here? From here I add 1. How do I get to here? I have to add 2, right? So x plus 2 is going to be my third consecutive integer. Okay? Okay, so here's my variables, x plus 1, and x plus 2, because it says they have to be consecutive. Consecutive means in order. They have to be in order. Okay. Now let's look for my problem. Now I need to write the equation. It says the smallest integer increased by 7 is equal to half the largest integer. Okay, the smallest integer, that's x. Okay, so x. Okay. Increased by 7. What does increased by mean? Increased by means plus 7, okay, is equal to, that would be my equal sign, half the largest integer. Half, how am I going to do half the largest integer? Well, I can put x plus 2 divided by 2, or I can put 1/2 times x plus 2. However you want to do it, those are the same thing. Whichever way you put it, it means the same thing. Okay? I'm going to put it divided by 2. Okay? Okay, I wrote my equation. Now I have to solve it. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I have to get rid of this denominator. And how I get rid of it is I multiply everything by it. It's a 2, so let's multiply everything times 2. Okay? 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 7 is 14. Now over here, my 2's are going to cancel out. Okay? So the only thing that's left over here is my numerator, x plus 2. Alright? Now let's look at this. The 2x is larger, so I have to subtract this x. So minus x from both sides. Okay, those cancel out. Since I have an x over here, I need an x over here. So this is what I have to get rid of. The opposite of plus is minus, so minus 14. Those cancel out. See, I have one thing canceled out on both sides. 2x minus x is x. I'm adding, my signs are different, so I have to subtract and use the sign of the larger number. The larger number is 14, so my answer is going to be negative 2. Okay? I'm sorry. 14 minus 2 is 12. So this is, I can't subtract, can I? This is negative 12. Okay, so let's look at my numbers. So my first number, it says x is negative 12. Remember, on story problems you have to define all of the variables. Okay, my next one is x plus 1. X plus 1. Negative 12 plus 1. My signs are different, so I subtract and use the sign of the larger number. My larger number is 12, so my answer is negative 11, or 12 minus 1 equals 11. So this number is negative 11. Okay. And my next one is x plus 2. X plus 2. So negative 12 plus 2. My larger number is negative. 12 minus 2 is 10. So my third integer was negative 10. Alright, did you understand that? Remember the word consecutive. If you need to, write it down. Consecutive means in order. Alright? Alright, go ahead and click Show Problems. Let's go to number 1. Here we go. If 48 equals k, what numbers are represented by k minus 1 and k minus 2? Okay. It says k minus 1, k minus 1. It says k equals 48, right? So I put a 48 where the k is, minus 1. 48 minus 1 is 47. That wasn't hard, was it? Let's try k minus 2. K minus 2. K is 48 minus 2. 48 minus 2 is 46. Right? Okay. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 says, if k is an odd integer, how would you represent the next 3 odd integers? Okay. K is an odd integer. Alright? Let's look. 1 is an odd integer. What's my next odd integer? 3. How do I get from 1 to 3? What do I have to do to 1 to get to 3? I have to add 2. Right? So to get to the next odd integer, I have to add 2. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. Now, I'm right here. Okay. I had to add 2 to get to here. My next odd integer is 5. How am I going to get to 5? I have to add 1, 2, 3, 4. So my next one is going to be k plus 4. Do you see what I'm doing? To count by odd integers, you have to count by 2's. So k plus 2, k plus 4. What do you think the next one's going to be? K plus 6. Alright? Go to number 5. They're working you hard today, aren't they? Find 4 consecutive integers whose sum is 114. Okay, first let's define my variable. What is x? Well, it's consecutive integers, right? So x is going to be my first number. If I'm doing consecutive, how am I going to get my second consecutive number? What do I have to add to it to go to the next number? I have to add 1. So x plus 1 is my second number. What's my third number going to be? I have to add 2. That's going to be my third number, so my fourth number is going to be x plus 3. Okay? Because they're consecutive numbers. They're each just plus 1. Okay? Now my equation is the sum is 114. What does sum mean? Sum means I have to add all those together, right? Okay? So I have x plus 1, x plus 1, then x plus 2, x plus 2, and x plus 3. And it equals 114. Okay, let's look at it. Okay, we have to combine like terms. So I'm going to underline